Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we're going to look at converting this full throttle into a target bow. Now the full throttle, you know, is the fastest bow in production made. And what makes it so fast is these cams. You can see they're extremely light. There's not much material here and they load up the poundage very, very fast. Now your ideal target bow is a bow like this. It's very long, axle, so from the wheel to the wheel, this bow is 40 inches long. It also has a longer distance from here to here. Now the idea of a target bow is to get the arrow off the string quickly. Now the bows aren't fast, but they have a bigger brace height, which means the amount of time the arrow is in the bow for is reduced due to the brace height. So at the PSE factory, there is a number of people shooting the full throttle for target, because the theory is that this bow, the arrow gets off the string just as fast as the target bow. And in fact, this chief engineer at PSE was shooting one of these bows for indoor archery. In fact, he made himself up a shorter version of this bow for indoor archery, and he told me, shooting good scores with it. So this has got me thinking, what sort of scores could I shoot with a full throttle with a target setup? So with this video, we're going to convert the full throttle into a target bow. This is my hunting 3D sort of setup. We're going to put all the target stuff on and shoot some indoor rounds with it and see what sort of scores I can shoot. Now, just from the full throttle up front, let's just say what this bow is. This is a fast shooting bow. I find this bow difficult to shoot. I do shoot well with it, but you've got to shoot this bow well to shoot good scores. So I'm going to be interested to see what sort of scores I do shoot with this bow and how the arrows come out. It's already set up with a QAD arrow rest. So I'm going to leave that arrow rest on the bow and just fit the rest of the target stuff to this bow and shoot some scores, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, thanks. Okay, so I've set up the full throttle for target archery. I've got my Axcel sight, Onyx stabilizer, Oynx rear stabilizer. This is my exact setup from my Expression indoor bow. I've got a Shrewd scope just there. That's the 6 times power, so it's going to be blurrier than target, but that doesn't worry me, because all I'm going to do is be putting that dot on the center of the blurred target, so it doesn't worry me. I can't see the lines. Basically, I've just got to put the dot in the middle. Now my peep is slightly too large, so I get space around my peep, but that's not really going to affect me. So I'm just interested to see how this bow shoots for target. Now originally when I brought this bow, my concept was to shoot this bow for target. After I went to the PSE factory and spoke to the engineers, I thought, well, I'll buy one and try it out. Now I took it down to my archery club in Western in ACT and shot it. Now the problem was I couldn't remove my arrows from the target. Basically it was too hard to pull out. And so I thought I'll shoot a spot on the target which is a little bit softer. Then my arrows went straight through the target butt. So that was the last time I shot this for target. So I set it up for 3D, and I really haven't shot this bow much. So I'm interested to see how this bow shoots. But that's why I never shot this bow for target, because my arrows either went through or I couldn't pull them out in target because the bow's so fast. Now in comparison, the Expression bow, the arrows are half in the target. With this bow, they went straight through the target. And in fact, with this, I've just sighted this bow in. I've shot 6 arrows with it, and the arrows went halfway through this target. Now with my other bow, they weren't even pushing through the back. So this bow is, 20% faster, more powerful than the Expression. So let's just shoot some arrows and see where they go. Now the bow's crisp, like really crisp, and it's pretty quiet to shoot. This draw cycle is pretty aggressive, not as aggressive as the Hoyt Turbo, but it's still an aggressive draw cycle. Now last night I was talking to an archer on Facebook and he was asking me about his anchor point. And he was saying he was anchoring a bit down his face, and he sent me through a video of what it looked like. And I said, you've got to try and get these knuckles into your jaw. Now with this release aid, I'm not getting my arrows in my jaw with this, as probably because my D loop's a little bit long. So in the ideal world, I'd shorten this up, I'd put a shorter peep, I'd put a smaller peep on or a clarifier. But that doesn't affect your accuracy. What affects my accuracy is putting that dot on the middle of that target. My first 2 shots were average, and I actually can't see them, so, but they felt average. That little third shot felt good. That felt all right. It's aiming okay. Is it aiming better or worse? About the same as the expression. The draw cycle is definitely harder. So now with this target, I've actually got another target behind it because these are so fast. One thing I love about the full throttle is when you do a good shot, it just goes dead in the middle and it's like, oh man, that was a good shot. And that was a good shot. Don't know where the arrow went, but it was a good shot. Okay, last one. So I'm going to shoot 6 arrow ends and I'll do it in fast forward motion. That was a good shot too. So let's go down and see how those arrows score. So that was 3 10s, 3 9s, but they were a little bit low and a little bit to the left. So I'm just going to move my sight. And the 9s were really my fault. So now normally when I shoot this, my scores vary from 292 to 300s. So maximum arrow is a 10, and I shoot 30 arrows. So this is over 18 meters, this is about 20 meters, so a score around 290s, 210s, 210s, 19 is probably pretty good, but let's see. Felt good. So yeah, Lincoln was asking me about the anchor position. So this anchor position is not ideal for me, but if I still shoot a good shot, it still goes in the middle. So I never get that hung up about draw. Just work on your shot, shot after shot, try and make it good, try and make it clean. And put the work in. If you don't put the work in, it ain't happening for you. Lots and lots of work. Put the work in, change anything, I don't care. But just put lots of work in. I really like shooting this bow. Thing with the full throttle, it's not my favorite 3D bow because it was fairly heavy, but as a target bow, the weight is actually pretty good. Now questions, why am I shooting at the same target most of the time? I like to see how my arrows group. Ideally I'd put 2 arrows in each target, but I like to see the grouping. Sometimes after I put a few arrows in the middle I might shoot a different target, but most times I want to see how the arrows group. It never worries me to shoot a knockoff. Last night I did 2 Robin Hoods, so I broke 2 knocks, 2 pins, and to me that's the reward for shooting. That felt good. So with that end, I shot 4 10s, a 9 and an 8, and my arrows were slightly to the left. So I can't move my sights anymore to the left, so I'm going to move the whole axis across. Now with my axis sight on this bow, I'm going to try and show you, it's basically as far left as it can go. So Axcel actually make a little bracket which go on here so you can move the whole sight to the left. So some questions as I'm shooting that I've been asked this week. Which arrow shall I buy? I'm looking for a good quality arrow. Now I'm shooting the Victory VAP. I sound like I'm pushing these, but I've been shooting them for a while now. These are the cheap ones, the Victory Sports. And I'm shooting great with them. I haven't busted any, touch wood. And I just Robin Hooded an arrow then. And I haven't busted a shaft. So touch wood, I haven't busted any. Now saying that, my partner who shoots indoor a lot, she broke 3 of hers through crunching them in. But she shoots at foam, hard targets, and she crunches the arrows. So, but I'm finding them perfectly fine. The price point is good. They cost about $200 a dozen by the time you make them up, which is pretty cheap for a good quality arrow. So I'm just going to step back a bit. I think I'm still off to the left, but the grouping's pretty good. Is it as good as my expression? Do you know what? No, it's not, but you know what's pretty close. And what you'll see is the good arrows are actually better than the expression. It's the bad shots that cost me, and it's always been the factor with this bow. I was shooting a field course and I shot clean, perfect round. I get up to one target and it sticks in my mind. There was a kangaroo to the left, there was a bird up in the tree, and I blew it. I was thinking about the kangaroo, I was thinking about the bird instead of concentrating on the target. I didn't miss the target, but I shot a 3 or something. But I was on a perfect round, and that's what this bow's like, the Full Throttle. If you shoot it well, it shoots really well for you. If you shoot it crappy, it shoots crappy for you. Which is why for beginners, I don't recommend it. But if you're looking for a cool, fast bow, and especially for 3D, in fact I feel like I'm shooting so well with this bow, I almost want to make the rest of the changes to it. The better peep, the shorter D-loop. And I'm not saying it's going to increase my score, because it won't. It'll just make me feel better while I'm shooting it. That was a nice shot. Love that shot. When I practice, I'm always looking for the good shot. So it's always feedback to myself about the good shots. I go, that was a good shot. I tend not to tear myself down that much with the bad shots, but I try and pull myself up with the good shots. Same as at work. When I do well at work, when the day's over, I go, finished, go home, relax, or go home and shoot more arrows, I always try and pull myself up. So in fact, I had one of my customers in my shop during the week. His name's Dave. Nice guy, really nice guy. I've known him for years. And he's been practicing a lot. And he went down to the club and he said, I had a really bad day. And he said, I lost it. He said, I'm so embarrassed I can't turn up again at the club. I said, sure, turn up. People will be cool with it. I said, just go and apologize to them. Say, look, I'm sorry I lost it. Never let it get you down when you shoot a bad shot or you have a bad day. Just, it's over, it's finished with. Next day could be that perfect score for you. That's the way you've got to see it. When the day's over, it's done, move on to the next day. Next day could be much, much better for you. Don't let a bad shot or a bad day get you down. You know, you've got to focus on the next day. As I understand it, the person who won the IBO, which is International Bow Hunting Association, won it, I think, 2 years ago with Full Throttle. And it doesn't surprise me because this bow shoots so well. He must have been a good shot, right? So don't blame the bow. Don't go, oh, he won it because it's Full Throttle, it's the fastest bow made. He won it because he's a good shot. But this bow, you shoot it well, it shoots well for you. Oh, that was a good shot. That was a really good shot. That was a really good shot. I really like the grip on the bow. It's sitting really comfortable in the hand. So let's go and pull those arrows and see how those ones went. So that was a really, really good end for me. That was 3 X's, two 10s and a 9, a high 9. Like a really good end. So that end was as good as I shoot with an expression. My breathing's not, here's the excuses. My breathing's not 100% at the moment, so I'm a bit out of breath. That's as much lung capacity as I have. So I'm pretty happy with that. Like, I take that all day, every day of the week, that score. They were good arrows, so let's shoot another one. Wasn't a perfect shot, I was actually moving around a little bit on the back. I think it went in the middle though, but if the other camera's working you'll be able to see better than me, but when you've got asthma, you can't get the lung capacity and you kind of shake it a little bit. It's like having, okay, it's like running 100 meters then having to shoot an arrow. That's what it's like for me just to shoot. Because I have the shakes in this hand, I have the shakes in this hand, and I've got no lung capacity, so I'm basically out of air. That was nice. Which is lucky because I was out of air as the arrow, as I shot the arrow. So one of the questions I get asked is about stabilizers. I'm shooting the Oynx here. I had a guy come over from Canberra and he tried the Reveal stabilizer, which is a recurve stabilizer from Shrewd, and it's about half the diameter of this stabilizer. It's built for recurves, it's still extremely stiff, and I've done a review on it. But he said, I'm going to try this on my compound. He shoots a recurve also. He sent me a message last week and said, look, I've been practicing with the Reveal versus the other stabilizers, and he said in the wind, the Reveal is much, much better because it's thinner diameter. Now what he said also was the maximum amount of weight he can put on the end of the reveal with the compound, and he's shooting 32 inches, I think, maybe 30 inches, and he put a 4-inch extender on, was 8 ounces. He tried for 10 ounces, but he said it was created too much vibration. If I get that wrong, but anyway, he found the reveal better for windy conditions. But then you're limited to how much weight you've got. Now down the bottom here, I currently have 4, 4, 8, 10 ounces at the end. I'm going to try and build that up over time, but currently I'm running 10. So right now, this bow's feeling really easy to shoot. That wasn't a good shot. And I feel like it went in the middle. I don't know if it did or not, but it wasn't a good shot. But it feels like it's hitting the middle. Now that was a good shot. Now I get asked a bit about the sight. How far should I move my sight, forward or back? Now there's a theory. I'm happy to talk theories. The further you move your scope forward, the smaller the scope and the more the power increases. The more you move it back, the bigger the scope is and the less the power. There's some theory about torque tuning with the sight. I've never really bothered because basically I put the dot on the middle, and if I release in the middle, it goes in the middle. And I don't get hung up about stuff because I don't shoot enough. If I was Stefan Hansen and I was shooting 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day, absolutely I'd do everything. But I shoot about, let's say I shoot 2-3 hours a day. It's not enough to get me being world competitive. And recently in the past month, I've cut back my shooting a little bit. So I'm probably averaging 2 hours a day and my scores drop a little bit. When I shoot 4 hours a day, my scores go up, and I am pretty close to world competitive when I shoot 4 hours a day. But it's very hard for me to shoot 4 hours a day. All right, let's go and see how those go. Okay, last 6 arrows. Now that last end was 2 X's, 3 10s and a high 9 again, almost in the same spot as last time. Now, if that continued the high 9, I'd mark the arrow to see if it's the arrow being bent pin or something like that. It was probably just me. It's not a bad 9, but definitely if I kept shooting that arrow, if I kept shooting a high 9 because the others are slightly low, I'd mark the arrow. I haven't done it in this case. But overall, like 59 out of 60, that's like a 295 with a hunting bow, with the fastest bow on the planet. And like I said, this distance is greater than 18 meters. It's about 20, 22. It's pretty good. Don't know where the arrow went, but it's a good shot. So when people look at a target bow versus a hunting bow, I have people say, can I shoot the inertia, which is a PSE fast bow, it's the one down from this in speed. Can I shoot that for target? Absolutely you can. It's just a little bit harder and you've got to work harder for it. And honestly, the difference between the top 5 archers in the state depending how big your state is probably not a lot. And then the difference between the next 5 and the top 5 is still not much. So, and that's where the bow comes into it. If you are, let's say, for this indoor round, which is out of 300, let's say you shoot a 280, the bow ain't going to help you because it's actually your shooting. You need to be shooting good scores to start with, and then you can start thinking about the bow. Now PSE have just released their 2018 target bow. It's called the, whatever it's called, Precision or something, anyway. Now they've released it with the twin cam system. It's a mini evolved cam system, so smaller cams. Now they've upped the speed to a 330, which means the arrow's going to be off that string quicker. They've increased the weight of the bow. I assume the vibration is going to drop on the bow, but increasing the speed of the bow is going to get the arrow off the string, so it's going to improve accuracy. So when the top archers in the world changed to the new PSE for 2018, I can't think of the name, sorry, and they changed mid-tournament, you know the bow's good. I was watching Stefan Hansen at the World Championships 1 week after the bow's been released, and he shot 150 out of 150, 149 out of 150, 150 out of 150, 149 out of 150, got knocked out in the gold medal match with 2.8s. Now, he's a great shooter, but I think PSE have done really well with their new target bow. I think it's going to be a big hit for them. As soon as I've got one, I'll do a review on it, but I like the fact it's faster, twin cams, and more weight on the bow. Which means you've got to be strong enough to hold the bow. But I think it's going to be a good bow. Now for me, am I going to notice the difference between the 2017 target bow and the 2018 target bow? I'm going to say no, because I'm not good enough, but I'm going to say I'm going to get one. No question, because the difference between me and the top shooter is a couple of points. And if it is worth a couple of points, I'm there, and I'm happy to pay $2,000 for a bow because it cost me $2,000 or $3,000 to shoot a nationals, go to a national. So I will have the new 2018 PSE target bow, and I'm probably going to shoot the Carbon Express Nano Pro RZ arrows because I've been doing a fair bit of research on those, and I'll do a review on them when I get them, because everything I've been reading about them, their weight, wind drift, I think's worth a few points. In the last nationals, I think I was a few points off third, like 5 or 6, maybe 4. And it's probably 10 or 15 off first, but I was getting heaps of wind drift. So and you're going to say, why are you discussing this while you're doing a full throttle review? It's because this full throttle is really fast. I'm shooting really, really well with it. So I think, because the arrow's getting off the string quickly, I think the new target bow will be an improvement on the old version. In fact, I think I could shoot a pretty good score with this bow. And it's got all sorts of questions raised for me. With this bow, I could actually shoot heavier arrows because of the speed, being the fastest bow in production, which would have less wind drift for target archery. So it raises the questions for me, which the PSE engineer said to me at the start of this, that he shoots this for target. And at the time I disregarded it. I went, oh yeah, whatever, you do it because you work at PSE. But then I couldn't pull my arrows out of the target, so I was like, can't even test it. Shooting this now, I'd like to shoot 90 meters with it. I think it'd give me an edge. Now that one there, I assume it's an 8 to the left. So when I was shooting, it was dead in the center, and when I shot, I moved my hand out like that. And this is the problem with the full throttle. It's less forgiving than the expression. It wasn't a bad shot. Yeah, it was a bad shot. Yeah, okay, it's an 8. But it wasn't that bad. Like, I just pulled this hand across it a little bit through the sort of tension, but it was still not a bad shot. But it is, for me, less forgiving than the expression for sure. But you shoot it good, it shoots good for you. So last arrow, make it good. All right, let's go and see what the score is. Okay, so I'm up here at target. That's the shot where I moved it across to the side. But overall, 2 X's, that'd be a 10, 9, 9, 8. 2 X's, 10, 9, 9, 8. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 288. So overall I shot 288 out of 300. It's below what I shoot with the expression. But saying that, this group is all low, it's all to the left. I don't think it's too bad, and the potential is there to shoot a good score. And this is the first 30 arrows I've shot with this bow. I set it up an hour ago. I shot 6 arrows practice with the sight setting. You can see I moved my sight during the video, and I obviously didn't move it enough to this side. But overall, I'm very happy with the way it shot. I really like the way I shot with the bow. I like the way the bow felt to shoot. I'm looking forward to the 2018 PSE target bow to shoot. But overall, I'm going to give this bow a bit more workout over the next few weeks. I do have a state championship coming up, which I'm shooting recurve in, but I still shoot compound pretty much every day. So I am going to be shooting this bow a fair bit coming up and see what sort of scores I shoot with the indoor. But between a target bow and a hunting bow, there's really not a lot of difference, and that's what was the purpose of this video was. So I picked the most aggressive, fastest hunting bow compared to the softest target bow there is. And yeah, look, you know, there is a score difference, but it is still quite minor. So just bear that in mind when you're picking the bow that you want to shoot for recreational shooting. I still wouldn't recommend a full throttle for a beginner because I think it's a little bit hard. There's a very small valley. The bow light, the Evolution, the Evolve, the Evolve Cam System 35, the Carbon Air 34, much easier bow to shoot, and you'll enjoy the bow a lot more. But if you're looking for that bow, which is really, I'm going to say rewarding, but tough on you, the full throttle, it's the fastest bow, and it's the fastest bow for a reason. So I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Enjoy your shooting, enjoy the day, and don't be too hard on yourself when you shoot and you shoot a bad arrow. It's just another arrow. No one really cares, and honestly, if you're at a tournament and you win, no one really cares. If you come last, no one really cares. If you're at home, you shoot an 8, once again, no one really cares. You only do this for yourself, unless you're shooting for prize money, but generally you're shooting for your own personal goals that you're setting, to put the work in and see how well you can shoot. That's why you shoot, and that's what makes it fun. You know, you put the work in, see what sort of scores you can shoot. I'm kind of interested now to see what sort of score I can shoot with a full throttle for indoor archery. I know the engineer at PSE said he shoots, this was about 4 or 5 years ago, I think he said he shoots around 295s with a full throttle indoors. I don't know how good a shot he is. I'm pretty sure he said he was in the state with a recurve, in the state team for a recurve. So I think said he was pretty good, but 295 at the time was a pretty good score, but I didn't know whether to believe it or not. I believe I can shoot a 295 easy with this bow, so I'm going to adjust my sights over the week and see what sort of scores I can shoot for myself. I would love to shoot a 300 with a full throttle for indoor. That'd be awesome. So I'm going to really give that a bash and see if I can do it. So anyway, enjoy your day and thanks for watching the video. Thank you. Bye.